and welcome to another episode of 4Tims and a Podcast. At this episode, we're just going to mention our friends over at Football Prizes who we've been working with. They raffle quite a lot of great merchandise. One of our listeners recently won a signed and framed Josip Juranovic top, and they've now got a signed Celtic shirt which is signed by the full squad, and you can enter now for only $3.95 and use the code 4Tims10. You can get 10% off. So if you head over to Football Prizes and chance your luck, you might get that signed and framed top. So best of luck, and thanks again to Football Prizes for helping us out. Right, football Saturday 4-0 against Ross County. Andy, a potential banana skin. I think out the last 20 games, Ross County were the third most informed team. We absolutely dusted them, ragdolled them, absolutely superb. Kind of first 30 minutes, we looked really determined. I'd mentioned in the previous pod that usually we need the chance to put pressure on Rangers. We've kind of hummed and hawed and struggled a bit. I thought that was the best first half of the season for me.
We were brilliant. It was brilliant. The lineup, it was as we sort of expected to. That he would put Maid out wide and bring Yota in. The team was, as you say, like to a man, we were outstanding. With the football we'd played at times, I'm lucky not to score more, to be honest. Even when the first goal goes in about the 10-minute mark, you're thinking here we go, and then maybe within another 10 minutes we're 2 up. Giacomakis has got his second. You're thinking he's a stick on for a hat trick, which obviously he got, and there's people shouting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It really could have been if we walk away for that game. So 7-0, you're no surprised at all, because it was just an absolute doing. The big man again, just outstanding. Just absolutely outstanding. He really is sort of coming into his own. It just shows you like this confidence game, and strikers getting I don't know minutes in the park, getting their goals. He's just he offers something so different for any other striker at the club. When when Kyogo is back fully fit, it's going to give us it's a right good problem to have. Maeda again, I always like to see him get a goal that sort of even the rewards you or the hard work that he does put in, because it's not just that he's a hard working player, he's a very talented player as well. So again, good to see him getting a goal. And even just across the board, like Yota, some of these performances of I don't want to say dipped because that's harsh, right? But he wasn't looking like the sort of Yota that everybody sort of fell in love with for here and there during games, but I thought he was brilliant. Again, it was good to see Hatate sort of playing better football again after his wobble recently. In 45 they had against Dundee United. Obviously Rogic goes off and O'Reilly comes on when Rogic goes after that. As a result of that tackle, which was reckless, I thought he looked good up until he went off, and then O'Reilly comes on, plays really well. Unlucky not to get a goal. Taylor, thought outstanding. One of his best games, to be honest, I've seen. And I say like that, and as a boy, it does take a lot of criticism, but it showed why Andrews sort of continued to play him there, because he's the best left back in the club anyway. But he understands what's being asked of him. He understands the role that he's been asked to play as a full back in an inside, and you can see that throughout the team. But I was buzzing with Tony. It's, as you said, every game for now at the end of the season is a cup final. It will be treated as a cup final, and just the way that we went about a business, so professional. Good to again ramp up that goal difference, keep it going, put the pressure on, and if we worry about ourselves, then that's only going to be all that matters at the end of the day. We keep winning our games, and performances like that, well, it just breeds confidence. Plenty of goals. It's brilliant to see, and it really has given me a lot of faith in this team that they're producing. A performance like that against, like you say, potential banana skin, one of the form teams in the league, gave them nothing. I can't really think of any chance that they had in the game, to be honest with you. So buzzing with Tony, and looking forward to getting back for international break with again players rested up, hopefully no injuries, and ready to go again.
I agree with everything you've said there in terms of the players you kind of pinpointed. I've been quite a critic of Greg Taylor, and obviously Danny loves it when I have to say in the chat that he was excellent, and I completely agree. I thought he was brilliant. I thought some of his first time passing to get made in behind was really efficient and really enjoyed to watch. I know you've just joined us. I think it was the best first half of the season. Thought we were exceptional. Difficult to pick out the best players because they were all just outstanding to a man. What did you make of the game?
As you say, it was one of our best first halves of the season so far, for sure. I actually thought we played superb until the red card, and then it sort of, I think, County just sort of gave up after that. I thought up until then we had sort of just absolutely dominated in a way that we haven't for weeks. And somebody, Andy, just mentioned it, Greg Taylor. I thought he was absolutely pivotal to everything we done in the first half, especially. I thought his range of passing, like the link up that he was having with Dyson Maeda was just superb. And I thought Maeda, he's right up there for my man in the match as well, Tony. I thought that the amount of times that he doing the live feeding balls in the box towards Jackie Marcus was just superb. And I think there's been a lot of talk about guys like Jackie Marcus and Maeda in recent weeks, and how some people don't think they're technically gifted, but I think we're seeing it. You don't need to be, like, you don't need to beat 8 men with a step over and then do like a Panenka cross or whatever. And I think that they two especially are just really showing their worth. Like I know Jackie Marcus was here at the start of the season, but since we've come back from a winter break and it's been the second half of the season, they two, I know Maeda is a new signing, but Maeda and Jackie Marcus have been absolutely superb, like, in terms of that front line and what they've contributed. Jackie Marcus is just, running out of superlatives. Like, I know, again, similar to Maeda, he's no your flashy striker that you wanted, but you're now seeing why this guy got so many goals over in Poland. And I think that we were probably quite lucky that his team got relegated, because I think if they'd have stayed up, I was listening to another Celtic podcast the other day, and they were saying that their mob had stayed up, then the asking price was about 12 million and we got him for about 10 million less than that. So I think that you're really starting to see his worth. And it was just brilliant to see, like, that type of performance when we had the chance to put pressure on, like, because obviously with the Dundee game and the Dundee United game we sort of made heavy wear out of both of them. So I think that being able to absolutely blow a team away, and I know some people were disappointed it only finished 4, but I just thought it was the exact type of perfect performance that we needed. And obviously it was great to see David Turnbull back as well. I think we're just really starting to fill up in terms of squad depth again. Like, you look at, I know we lost Tom Rogic to injury, but it's sort of, you've got guys like Turnbull coming back, Matt O'Reilly was even on the bench on Saturday, and even guys like Yusuke Adeguchi, who is somebody who's not got much minutes under his belt so far. We're just really in a great position, and I think everybody will be absolutely delighted with how this wee break in between the period in between coming back from the winter break and this international breaks went. I know the disappointment dropping points at Easter Road, but apart from that, in the European games, obviously, it's just been absolutely perfect since we came back.
It's been brilliant. What other podcasts were you listening to? Just out of interest.
Well, I can't give other podcasts some advertising on here, but it might have been, I can't remember what one it was. It may have been Axel, but that's just, it's a good pals at Axel that I've had us on for the weekend. And it was, as you know, I've just bought a house, so I've been decorating that, and they've got a lot of content, so I think it was on one of their ones. It was just sort of playing, but big shout out to Russell Boyce.
I hope he's not listening. He's going to fall out with me. No, there's so many. I've found myself listening. 67 Hail. Some of the bits with Hamish and Stevie for Gig Pod are really good. So there you go. Everybody can have a bit of a free clout. Why not? Who gives a fuck? Danny, you enjoyed the game on Saturday. What was your thoughts? Did you see your pal Greg Taylor was man of the match?
No, I wouldn't say he was man of the match, but I thought he was excellent again. I think his form post-Christmas, maybe post from the League Cup final onwards, I think he's been outstanding. I think did United at home when he wasn't in the team, you seen it? There's just no balance. Rafe Rovers at home, I know Scales scored a screamer in that game, but just no balance as we go forward. And sometimes you don't notice how good these players are. Not for Celtic until they're not in the team. Taylor, I thought, was really good, but you know something, Tony? I thought the whole team were outstanding. I thought everybody, it was the perfect response to what was required on Saturday. You go in and we're all talking about, we've not put a team away in a while, but we were so powerful up at Dundee United. That was the word to describe us. And then on Saturday, Ross County are, apart from Celtic, and I think Ross County have picked up more points in the last 8 games than Rangers have. I'm not sure, maybe it's close to being even, but obviously at Celtic Park I think they're going to beat them, but they're a good team. They've got the top scorer in the league in their team, and we just set about them for the first whistle, and it was 3 going on 6 or 7 in the first half. I actually thought the boy that got sent off was unlucky. I actually thought it was a good tackle, but he had a much worse one a couple of minutes earlier that he got away with. So how many times was he going to run in recklessly into a Celtic player, luckily get the ball or whatever? I don't think he can have 2 complaints. They get sent off. If he get sent off for the Maeda one, he'd no complaints. So I mean, it swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? But the first half, just the way, I think Darren's right. I think the game levelled out after that a wee bit, and we kind of took off it off the gas a wee bit. Maybe think, right, 3 points in the bag, there's more important games to come up. But I thought Jota was outstanding. I must admit, I've not seen I know Andy mentioned that, I've not seen too many folk speak about Jota. I thought he was unbelievable. Just the way he got the ball, taking men on, his crossing, for the first goal was great, put a couple of great crosses in, just the way why he joined in with the attack. Maeda and Hatate thought their link-up play was second to none. I know there's that clip where O'Reilly ends up shooting wide, but the two of them were at it the whole game. And I thought they were ripping the piss out Ross County, because you could see during that move, you can actually see Hatate. He's looking out Maeda. He can give the ball to about 3 other players, but he's actually forcing it to Maeda. And that was when goal of the season went in. Just an all-round good performance, Tony, what you were looking for in Jackie Magus. I mean, he's had his critics. He's still got his critics. I was a very big doubter of him. I didn't fancy him before he signed. Seen him a few times and thought he could be a handful, but I wasn't holding out much hope. And then he came on and he couldn't get fit. He was never fit. He was always injured. I think he made a couple of sub appearances and I thought, this guy looks pretty handy. He can get himself about. And then he missed that penalty. And do you know what? I was so glad he took the penalty and scored on Saturday. It's not something that we need to revisit in a year in the last minute of a game. And you think, well, he's got a penalty. He's not took one since, or a penalty shootout, and you think, he's not took one since. He stepped up. I know it was for a hat trick. He stepped up, he put it away, he got his goal, and he's, we're flying at the minute, and the international breaks came at the completely wrong time for Celtic, because while we've started playing again, we've got that groove again that we started the season with, where we were just battering teams and everything was coming off, and we can, and it, don't get me wrong, a big part of the season is learning how to grind out wins and get 3 points, and how many games have we won by the odd goal this year. It's been really impressive. But Saturday was really enjoyable, and it was good to see Turnbull back. I'm a massive fan of David Turnbull, and I actually think since he's been at the team, we've missed people getting into the box for midfield, so he can add that as well. Plus he takes a half decent delivery. But Saturday was just a really, really, really good day, and the team really stood up to what the task was, and I thought the crowd were exceptional as well, so it was an all-round good performance, good day.
It was great to see Turnbull coming back. He's obviously been out since the cup final, which feels like fucking years ago now. Crowd are always excellent. Obviously the two singing sections always bring a great atmosphere, and I agree with what he says. Everybody was excellent. Jota's ball in for the first goal was excellent, and Giakoumakis' movement spot on. So I mean, I was a bit worried getting into it, because he just kept getting told how informed they are, and they've been good and different things, but it was just an easy win in the end up. So Andy, I was going to ask you, obviously coming up, we've guaranteed that unless some sort of absolute disaster, that after the next game, regardless of what happens, we'll still remain top of the league.
Massive. We spoke about that before. Because of how tight the title is, you really can regard the superior goal difference as like having that extra point. So as you say, like worst case scenario, if we go into that game and you lose that game, we're still top of the league, because unless you lost it, like you say, with some fucking catastrophic margin, which, to be honest, that's not going to happen, then we will be there. And listen, you don't really want to think like that, but it gives you that sort of cushion, that room for if it was to happen, then you're not overly worried, because it's still in your hands. You can afford to drop something that's still in your hands at that point. So it's huge, and victories like that are really it just strengthens that position, because we were already sort of quite comfortable, and we were all fairly happy with the fact that we had that superior goal difference. But going gubbing somebody 4-0, it just reinforces that. So it's huge. I think mentally it's huge for players as well. They'll be aware of it just as much as we will. Obviously, it's impressive, to be honest. Given it's just the thing that will strikes me with this team is just how far we've came for, not even this time last season, but the end of the season, where we were looking at the managers coming in and things like that. It's not even just to be challenging for the title, but to be sort of superior at scoring goals and keeping them out is fucking bonkers. Like, he's somehow sorted out the top end and the back line of this team. But I'm comfortable with that, Tony, because although I don't think we will lose that game, and it's something we will preview a bit closer at the time, we'll come on and get a chat about it. But I'm a lot more comfortable going into that game knowing that, to me, it's more like we're 4 points ahead than 3, just given the circumstances.
Absolutely. If I'd have said to you, Danny, when we conspired with the Vatican and the SFA to get the winter break moved back in December, and we're 6 points behind, and I don't know what the goal difference was. I don't think it was that big a gap in our favour. If I told you then that we would be 3 points clear by April, would you have believed it?
No, Tony, no, I wouldn't have. I thought we'd be playing catch up until the next game against them at Celtic Park, because they were, for as much as I didn't think they were great at the time Gerrard was kind of rumoured to be leaving, and when he left, they were grinding out results, and they kept going behind in games in like the first 10 minutes, and then they'd score 2 goals in a minute and be winning at half time, and then go on and win 2 or 3 or 4-1, and I think one day at Motherwell it was 5-1. So I thought it was going to be tough. I didn't think they were great, and I thought if they started dropping points, they would drop points in busts. And then it happened that some of the year they went to Aberdeen, Ross County, Celtic, and they got 2 points out of 9, and all of a sudden we were a point clear. We're about 31 games unbeaten now. The consistency that we've showed all season really has been remarkable. I mean, you went for the first 3 away games, we lost them all. People saying we couldn't win away from home. They go on, 31 games unbeaten domestically. It's just incredible. The team deserves a lot of credit for where it is, but listen, nothing's won yet, nothing's finished. It would be a capitulation not to win the league for here, in my opinion, especially with 3 points clear, a superior goal difference, and the chance, even if they were to beat us, a chance to put it right a couple of weeks later at Celtic Park. It would be a capitulation not to win the league, but the team deserve an awful lot of credit for where it was when we played. Don't get me wrong, we still had a good enough team to beat Hearts that night, but to think that a new season's meant to be a fresh start and it looked as if we were playing catch up already because a new manager had come in at least a month too late for everybody's money, and very publicly it wasn't the first choice as well, so there's a lot to contend with. You had the Euros and obviously COVID and all that as well, and then having to go put a fucking youth team out in the Champions League. I respect, was it a 17 and 18-year-old at the back or something? So, all credit. If you'd have said to me that night, listen, you'll get to 2nd of April or the 3rd of April, you're going to Ibrox for a 3-point lead, superior goal difference, and the chance to put, if you lose, the chance to put it right at Celtic Park, I'd have bitten your horn off for it. And it's, you know what, I think it's, it's got to be it's got to be topsy-turvy at the end of the season, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. But the other half thought that it was done and dusted. They've been thinking about moving the George Square Trashathon to December this year, and the only team that won it in December was Celtic, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if it would be a complete capitulation, but it would be a massive disappointment not to win it for here. But it's quite incredible to be saying that. I mean, in January when we were 6 behind, I thought it's going to be such a struggle. You need to beat them and then go such a long run and then have to beat them again. But they did obviously drop quite a lot of points, which was lucky for us. But in the same token, as you say, we've been pretty much perfect apart from the Hibs game, which we weren't great in at all. But no, the manager deserves tremendous credit, and fuck, we're the right people to game it. I feel as though that's what I've done all season. So I'm looking forward to Ibrox. It's a game where the pressure's all on them. We'll review it in full, but I think the first goal will be extremely crucial. If they get it, they'll be bouncing. If we get it, they'll be bouncing and tap each other's heads. So I think it's important that we go there and try and frustrate. But in the meantime, there's 7 games left. We're 3 clear. We've got, I think it's 15 plus goal difference. So it's a great position to be in. We're also in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. So send it on. I think we're just going to make this a quick one because we're going to do a full preview next week. But thanks very much for listening. Cheers.